The Fox's Prophecy. Long before the world was tamed by man's hand, the forest was a kingdom ruled by the foxes. Silent and swift, they moved through the shadows, masters of their domain. Their lives were simple yet sharp, shaped by the rhythm of the seasons and the pulse of the wild. But even the cleverest creatures cannot escape the march of time. A prophecy spoken in the hush of twilight by the oldest fox foretold a coming storm, one that would change the forest forever. This is their story, a tale of survival, loss, and the fierce will to endure. Chapter 1. The Gathering. The elders met beneath the ancient oak, its roots deep in the earth like the memories they carried. The night was still, save for the soft rustle of leaves and the distant call of an owl. Eldrin, the oldest fox, his coat streaked with silver, stepped forward. His eyes, sharp and steady, scanned the younger foxes gathered before him. He spoke with a voice steady and grave, carrying the weight of many winters. He told of men with iron tools and fire who would tear down the trees and scatter the prey. The forest would shrink, and the foxes would be forced to change or die. The young foxes listened, some with disbelief, others with a growing chill in their bones. The world they knew was vast and wild. How could it be lost? Eldrin's words hung heavy in the air, a shadow cast over the bright eyes of youth. The younger foxes whispered among themselves, some scoffing at the idea that the forest could be taken from them. They had lived their lives in the shelter of the trees, their paws light on the earth, their senses sharp. The forest was their home, their refuge, their kingdom. Yet beneath their bravado, a seed of doubt took root. Eldrin's prophecy was not just a warning, it was a call to prepare for the future. Chapter 2. The First Warning. The days grew shorter, and the air carried a new scent, smoke and iron. The roar of machines shattered the quiet. Trees fell like giants struck down, and the earth trembled beneath the march of men. The foxes saw their home vanish piece by piece. Eldrin's prophecy was no longer a warning, but a reality. The young foxes learned to move with care, to hunt in the shadows, to avoid the humans' traps and dogs. The forest was no longer safe, but the foxes were clever. They adapted, shifting their ways to survive. The nights grew restless. The once familiar sounds of the forest were drowned by the harsh clatter of axes and the rumble of carts. The foxes moved silently, their paws barely touching the ground, eyes wide and alert. They learned to read the signs of human presence, the broken branches, the faint footprints, the smell of smoke lingering in the air. Eldrin watched the younger foxes with a mixture of pride and sorrow. They were quick learners, but the cost was high. The forest was shrinking, and with it, the places where the foxes could hide and hunt. Some foxes grew bold, venturing closer to the edges of the forest, drawn by the scent of food left behind by careless humans. Others stayed deep in the woods, wary and watchful. The balance of the forest was shifting, and the foxes had to shift with it or be lost. Chapter 3. The Vanishing Paths. Old trails disappeared beneath the clearing of trees and the building of fences. The rivers ran muddy, the prey grew scarce. Some foxes grew desperate, reckless in their hunger. Others grew silent, watching and waiting. Eldrin reminded them that survival was not just strength, but patience and cunning. The foxes moved as one, sharing knowledge, guarding each other. The forest was smaller, but their spirit was unbroken. Foxes found themselves strangers in their own land. Paths that had been trodden for generations vanished beneath the relentless advance of man. The places where they once hunted freely were now fields of crops or bare earth. The rivers, once clear and full of life, ran muddy and slow. The prey was harder to find, and hunger gnawed at the bellies of many. Some foxes, driven by desperation, took risks they would never have considered before. They crept closer to human settlements, scavenging scraps and dodging dangers. Others withdrew into the deepest parts of the forest, silent and watchful, their eyes reflecting the dim light of the moon. Eldrin reminded them that survival was not just about strength, but about patience and cunning. The foxes began to move as one, sharing knowledge and watching each other's backs. They learned new ways to hunt, new places to hide, new times to move. The forest was smaller, but their resolve was greater. Chapter 4. The Human Shadow. The humans were no longer distant figures, but constant threats. Traps snapped shut, dogs bayed in the night, and the foxes learned every sign: the broken branch, the faint footprint, the scent of man. Eldrin taught the young to be patient, to strike only when the moment was right. The forest had become a battlefield, every step a test of wit and will. Yet even in this harsh new world, the foxes found moments of grace. A mother tending her kits, the soft light of dawn. These moments were their strength, a reminder of what they fought to keep. The humans came with their traps and their dogs, relentless and unforgiving. The foxes learned to read every sign: the broken branch where a trap had been set, the faint footprint of a man, the scent of dogs on the wind. Eldrin taught the young foxes to be patient, to wait for the right moment to move, to avoid danger whenever possible. The forest had become a battlefield, and every step was a test of wit and will. Yet even in this harsh new world, the foxes found moments of grace. A mother fox tended her kits with gentle care, the soft light of dawn breaking through the trees, the quiet strength of the forest itself. These moments were their strength, a reminder of what they fought to keep alive. The foxes were not just survivors, they were the heart of the wild. Chapter 5: The Last Stand. Years passed and the forest was forever changed. The prophecy had come true. The foxes were fewer, their homes smaller, their lives harder, but they endured. Eldrin, old and wise, looked upon the new generation with pride. They were different, wiser, more cautious, but still fierce and free. The prophecy had been a guide, a warning, and a promise. The foxes had learned that survival meant change, that the wild was not a place frozen in time, but a living, breathing thing. The forest still stood, scarred but alive, and the foxes still ran beneath the moonlight, their eyes bright with the fire of life. The years wore on, and the forest bore the scars of man's passage. Trees were fewer, the shadows thinner, the nights quieter. Foxes were fewer too, their numbers diminished by hunger, danger, and loss. But they endured. Eldrin, now old beyond measure, watched the new generation with a fierce pride. They were different from those who had come before, wiser, more cautious, but still fierce and free. The prophecy had been a guide through the storm, a beacon in the darkness. It had taught them that survival was not just about resisting change, but embracing it, finding strength in adaptation and hope in unity. The forest, though scarred, still breathed with life. The foxes, though tested, still ran beneath the moonlight, their eyes bright with the fire of survival. Conclusion. The fox's prophecy is a story of the wild's harsh truths and quiet victories. It is a reminder that nature is not a place untouched by time or man, but a realm where life must fight to endure. The fox's tale is one of loss and hope, of cunning and courage. It is a testament to the enduring spirit of the wild, a story that lingers long after the last word is read.